Once upon a time, not very long ago,
where people wore pajamas and lived life so?
I was a hoe. That was the confession.
I was going the traditional slick Rick route. You went with the slick dick route.
Yeah.
Binger!
Oh, God. Hi!
Hey! Welcome to We Shall Over Chug, the show that gives you black culture
on the rocks.
It's
happening. Jameer and I are back.
Yes.
We just want to apologize for last week. Just some shit went down. You guys know how
members, chlamydia, you know, the same old, same old.
Right. I told one dude I was a blood. I told the other I was a crip. It got real messy.
And there's chlamydia still, so.
It'll clear up on itself. I think that's how it works now.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
No.
How have you been since we've been gone?
I've been good. I got a Jodeci shirt.
You do, and it looks so good. I like this whole fit. I like
It's a Jodeci fit.
Look. Yeah,
it's a Jodeci fit. Thank
fire.
you, baby mama. I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you doing?
Still trash.
Okay.
Everything's been real trash lately. I'm not even gonna lie. But that's part of life. You got the ups, you got the downs, and you have the even lower than that.
We could have just sugarcoated just a little bit.
No, I think the American people deserve to know the truth. It's been trash.
The American people? We don't know shit. How about that?
It's also very true. We have a wonderful guest in store today.
Yes.
Now, we have to change shit up, because when we say black lives, we mean all black lives. And this show is getting real regular for a second. So we shook it up, got something different, and this shit is going to be fire today. We have the incredible performer, welcome, Blvck Laé D! Come on.
Is that a sword?
Oh! Yes!
Wow!
Got me!
There's a fucking sword here!
Yes!
So what are we serving here today? What do you like?
Hey! You know what I like? A bartender that just jump right in like shit!
Yes.
Because in this house, we serve Blvck Laé D magic.
Oh!
Can't wait to get drunk, can't wait to get drunk.
Can't wait to get
drunk.
Can't wait to get drunk with you.
How are you feeling today, Blvck Laé D?
I'm feeling my melatonin. I'm feeling just like here.
Melatonin!
You know, most people call it melanin, but
Yeah.
mine runs a little deeper.
Hey!
Push you to bed.
It puts you to bed. You know, my REM cycle keeps on going. Because I just need dreams. Yeah.
So let's pour up some drinks. Let's just dive right into it. And while you do that, just let us know. Here's some cups here. You can just pour all this in there. Let us know where we can catch you live in New York City, killing it, being the finest Blvck Laé D we know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm also known as the Pretty Guardian of Brooklyn.
Pretty Guardian of
Because I
Brooklyn.
serve and I protect those in my court.
Really?
My parties. I have several parties in Brooklyn, actually. My home bar is called Macri Park, and I am there every second Thursday and every last Thursday as well for two parties. One's called Ballbreaker, and when we do our Ballbreaker is that we make sure that we do fundraising. And so, like, we have a lot of people who perform. So we put party performance in activism because we make sure that all the money that's generated during that night goes to a cause that we choose that goes back to the community.
Amazing!
Yeah.
We don't do none of that type of shit.
Yeah.
We be asking from the community as well, mostly.
Shit, bills gotta get paid. Hey, look, if you're the protector of Brooklyn, there's some,
we got problems.
yeah, there's some dudes in Brownsville I might need you to cut, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Sebastiano, I'll go there.
Woo woo!
Hello?
Gang, we about to be on your heels, Darnell.
What's goody, Darnell?
That's right. Them $15 gonna cost you your ass, Darnell.
And that's that on that on that.
Woo!
On that?
Yes.
On that note, let's just cheers to this
A little tip for you.
Oh,
There
thank
you
you.
go.
I love y'all. Tip your queen. Yes.
Oh,
Cheers.
please pour yourself some as well. Join us.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know what? I got me a little special something. I got my little go-go juice here.
It's cool.
You know, some people call it a caffeinated drink. I just call it white tears.
Hey! Oppression!
We've been trying to not drink that.
That part.
There we go.
Amazing.
Here.
Let's get into things that was weird this week.
Everything got a little bit weird, so we had to drink some white tears. Everything was weird this week. Bam, bam, bam. Nothing at all seemed to be sweet, cause everything was weird this week.
have you here because our show is getting real regular, cis, hetero.
Yes.
You know, things you see every day. So when I say Black Lives Matter, and I'm so happy, Roberta, that you do activism for the community, I mean all Black lives. And you being here is an example of the extension of what Black looks like. So I'm so happy you came to join us today.
Yes.
Facts.
And you know what? And I'm so glad that you mentioned that too, because I feel like with activism, especially activism in color, I feel like we forget that we can sometimes intersectionalize ourselves within our community. I feel like we can be so separate, and I feel like that sucks because we have the whole world already against us. Why not band together so we have a stronger force
as a community?
That's it.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
We do need to segregate some people, though.
Oh, God.
We gotta kick out Erykah Badu and Miss Taraji P. Henson.
What Badu do? What's she doing now?
Badu did bad. She badon't. She went to Chicago, you know, the city of the perpetual rapist that is R. Kelly.
Or the Windy City, depending on what you call it.
It depends if he opens the windows in his dungeon so the girls can get some fresh air. I don't know.
Walk right into that.
Erykah Badu took to the stage to let the people of Chicago know, now we shouldn't just judge people, right? We should have unconditional love. And that means loving people through their poor choices. And she proceeded to say, well, would we hate his abusers if they became abusers? Is that how you guys work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't just go around abusing people and just we extend our hearts to you. Like unconditional love does mean self-respect, protection, which would lead to you creating boundaries so you don't get harmed within your love.
And I think that's the key is boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so crazy that you mentioned that too, because a lot of that toxicity is actually happening in like my community right now, in like Brooklyn nightlife, which is so crazy. And it comes to a point where you get so frustrated where you don't know what to do or how to act because it's like you're tiptoeing, you don't want to step on any eggshells, you want to ruffle any feathers because some people have their sides. And it's hard to really see when it's like black and white like that. And like I agree with you too, it's like unconditional love has its limits though. Right. You know, it's like you have to be able to like see if the person's willing to take actions to, you know, for like to take action to like reprimand what they did. And I feel like what R. Kelly he's doing, he's like denying it. He's not taking actions at all. He's not. He's like, and it's so crazy because we have evidence he's done it before. The Boondocks told us, like the Boondocks tried to warn us, and we didn't listen.
And that tape.
Yes, and the girls who ran away.
Yeah.
Also told us that he is a terrible person.
Yeah.
And these aren't poor choices. These are intentional decisions that he's made to prey and be a predator to young black girls. And why? Does he need protection? Well, the reason why we're here now is because everyone around him has protected him. What was the point of you standing on stage in his hometown where these attacks were happening, where these kidnappings and these rapings were happening? What was the point of you getting on stage in that city specifically to wrap a blanket around his shoulders? That's
to flaunt, because you know you can get away with it.
Insane.
Well, so, alright, totally understand that. And then Taraji was on this not just him kind of thing with the Instagram story where she hashtag mute R. Kelly and it came up like 20,000.
I hate that the aunties know how to use cell phones.
And then
he's like, stop enough for you. I know I have games and I know our games are
keep it in your living room with Colt 45 on the
wow.
Stop telling us your ideas.
Wait, can I just say, like, please, can we not cancel Taraji? Like, Empire just got back good again, and she got her act together.
So here's my thing. So we know what we have to do with R. Kelly, and there are people, of course, who want to cancel these other people in support of R. Kelly. We talked about cancel culture like 2 weeks ago, like top of the year.
It's a millennial thing. We did this.
Yeah. So what do we do with the people who we love that do support R. Kelly, might not be doing physically malicious things, but are doing verbal supporting or supporting of R. Kelly in that nature? And what does that look like? So are you canceling Erykah Badu and Taraji P. Henson? Whatever that means to you.
I haven't given Erykah Badu a dime since '99.
Wow.
So,
that's some amazing albums after '99.
Sure.
Yeah. classics.
Again.
Okay.
Didn't give her $1, but I heard the songs.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
We all did Cars Growing Up With Our Parents. This is riding through.
Yeah.
Easy.
Both of these aunties are in an upcoming movie together.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's titled What Men Think.
What Men Think.
Wait, let's connect this for a second because do you think maybe, I won't say that they could like karate together, but they go like, "Girl, did you see what happened? Can you believe this too?" I can see that happening, but also let's dig deeper though. Let's dig into like the deep psychology as what we are feel like taught as Black children. Is that especially I feel like growing up, I saw a lot that the Black kids in my life were taught to kind of like surrender to the Black man and like uplift them and to give them their everything. And I feel like since they're from that old culture, they're just taught that we have to support our Black man. We can't let the world attack our Black man.
Ingrained.
So I think it's ingrained, and I think it's out of reflex. I don't think it's because they genuinely believe he didn't do it. I think that they're just taught that like this is a figure that we don't have many of. That let's protect what we have left. And not to justify it, but I'm just saying that's what the perspective is.
And Taraji did tweet after the whole melee that she does think that R. Kelly does deserve to go to jail. I think another perspective from the Black community is just like, well, why just R. Kelly? And why not anybody else? There's been so many people that have been raped, like people who were rapists and child molesters and all this. So why just R. Kelly? Like, why are these white people not being held accountable? Which I understand, but
let's talk about that.
Okay, but I was just saying, like, you know, as I mentioned before, I don't think crimes like that have color. Like, I think terrible crimes like that go colorless. Like, we're talking about protecting Black girls, whether it's somebody that's white or it's somebody that's Black. If you're going against that and you're putting Black women in unsafe places, you deserve to get kicked down a flight of stairs and then arrested in jail. And then you deserve whatever melee may happen to you there. That's what you deserve as well, because you're endangering Black girls. So I don't think that it's just like, R. Kelly issue. I think it's anybody who's doing that issue. So whether you're Black, white, purple, blue, anything. We have to hold these people accountable for predatory and rape culture.
And some people always say that Taraji should have done her research on, again, aunties, leave themselves alone. You don't need the Instagrams. But what she did, you don't need it right now. It's okay. We'll see your family album when we come home for Thanksgiving. It's okay, chill. But what I will say is that she should have done her research because she said that R. Kelly was like crucified, but Harvey Weinstein wasn't. Yeah. But like he is done.
He ran out the country. Try to delay his punishment and like the backlash that was coming on.
He did flee.
So here's the thing, Taraji. You don't know how to work your phone, and it's really making me upset because first of all, you missed the point that mute R. Kelly was because his songs were playing.
Yeah.
Mute was literally a symbol of the radio to turn it off.
And it was a hashtag on the docuseries. So of course there's going to be an influx of tweets and
hashtag that too.
Yes.
So you can't mute Harvey Weinstein. Why did Harvey Weinstein have one post? Because one idiot out there, I'm not going to point fingers. One idiot out there said we need to take him down too. Mute Harvey, and that person was wrong because you can't mute somebody that don't sing. Harvey Weinstein's not on the radio.
Yeah, he's singing his over. He's chirping
He's singing now. Oh, that's what that feels like. So you was wrong trying to look up the hashtag, trying to prove a point on Instagram. That was wrong. Secondly, you missed the entire point that Harvey Weinstein is getting his ass handed to him. His movies being canceled, losing money out the ass, losing partnerships, getting jail time. His punishment is here.
But why don't they have a docu-series about him?
So here's what I wanted to say about auntie culture. That I guess during their time, no shade, I'll be up there soon. During their time, you needed to protect each and every Black person because you barely had that Black opportunity, right? Like, we needed to be correct in all those times because if one Black person failed, then they would never give us a chance again. Here's the thing about that. We've evolved. It's so many Black folk out now. We're in such like a great place that some of us could fail now. So R. Kelly, unfortunately, love, he has to go to jail. And so what you're really asking in when you say like, how come the white gets to get off and the black don't? What you're really saying is you want the black person who did wrong to be free like the white person. Yeah. That's the wrong way to say it. How about everybody go to jail?
Just put them all in
Everybody gotta go to jail.
Bill Cosby got some room in himself.
You get a felony, you get a felony, you get a felony.
Everybody gets felonies.
Yes. Aunties, please put your phone down. Put your phone down. Yes, auntie.
You canceling Taraji and Erica? They go away?
I don't want to hear what men think from those two.
Sisters, you can't just embrace it. Just be an angry black lady. That's what I did.
It's the fan movements that are so fluid.
It's selling it. It really is selling your point. It's like a period.
Flick of the wrist.
Oh, hey, take me away, please. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
Chris Brown.
Oh, we went there.
Are you here? All right. Are you here to apologize to this man?
Why do I have to apologize to Chris Brown?
I'm just saying.
You're not a woman. That's
oh.
No.
I apologize, Chris Brown, for being a woman and inconveniencing you.
That's not what I was
sorry.
going to say. As we all know by now, Chris Brown was accused in Paris of allegedly raping a woman.
A French woman.
A French. But those claims later came out that they were untrue. And now a lot of people are calling for people to apologize to Chris Brown for trying to slander his already tainted name.
He's already suing her.
Yeah.
And he's suing her.
Which he should do.
Which
absolutely.
Go to jail. Go to jail. Go to jail.
I hate when y'all make me defend Chris Brown.
Were you one of the people that you didn't slander him at first?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Because rape is a serious case, and especially with the Me Too, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, it's so hot right now to out these people who have been predators this entire time. When I saw the headline, I said, I'm not going to say anything until facts are facts. Yeah. That's fair to do, no matter how I feel about Chris Brown.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I said I will not say anything until these facts come out. That being said...
Oh, boy. Alright, where you going from there?
That being said...
Watergate.
We know Chris Brown to be a beater, not a rapist. Chris Brown hits. He does not rape. So we could assume from that's a bit out of character for Chris Brown. However, it still aligns with the violence that he has constantly shown to women over all these years. Now, here's the thing with everybody like jumping up and being like, y'all owe him an apology. If the headline was Kevin Hart accused of rape, we would be like, what? Oh my God, we would click, we would read Kevin Hart. Oh my God, but he's so, how could we would have never? But it was Chris Brown, people were like, not quite surprised, but just wait. And I think that right there, that non-tension speaks volumes. That we could in one breath say, how could R. Kelly have done this for so long? How come nobody said anything? It's been 30 years. Who has been around him this entire time? Who has allowed him to succeed for all this time? And no one, and everyone shook their finger at this R. Kelly story. I think when it comes to Chris Brown, he has shown violent tendencies.
Granted, I will say that he wasn't, accused of rape, or he might not be a rapist. Assault is still assault. Apples and oranges is still in the same basket.
Thank you.
And I've heard around the mulberry bush that a lot of people think that this is a conspiracy theory because Chris Brown just bought his masters. He's saying that Michael Jackson did and Prince did.
Oh, this is like when Bill Cosby brought NBC. So here's what my thing is like. We sit here like we shook our fingers at people around R. Kelly who has allowed him to like do these things like, oh my God, he was right in front of our faces. How did we know? He's in Aaliyah's album. He's singing these lyrics. He's like doing it in plain sight. We've seen Chris Brown do whatever he did to Rihanna. We've seen him, we literally watched him stalk Karrueche. She was trying to get away from him, and we see him following her wherever she's going in paparazzi, bothering her, making her uncomfortable, invading her space. We've seen that she went to court to get a restraining order. We see him hit fans. We see him throw their cell phones. We see him fight photographers. He is constantly violent. We see him threaten people on the internet when men try to talk to his ex-girlfriends. That's territorial. That's abusive. That's pervasive. We're watching him do it, and people go, his somersault stuff. And I will never understand Chris Brown fans, and I will never understand Chris Brown fans who despise R. Kelly because they are in line with abuse. Chris Brown has been violent. He's always been violent. And so now when this rape case comes out, you got half people who already want to protect him because they need their somersaulting king. And they got half people who are already like, I'm sure he did it because he's been violent since day one. He deserved a fair trial, and he was acquitted. It was proved that he didn't do it, which is great. But the fact that we already chose our decisions, it was because it was based on his reoccurring history of violence. He is violent towards women. He is violent towards women. He is violent towards women, and we keep supporting him and allowing him to have a career because he's great.
You wanna know why? It's because we have, you know, this air, this atmosphere of like rewarding bad behavior. And I feel like it goes to that old like high school trope of like, you're in high school and like, you know, the football team, the all-star, you're gonna be doing bad in school, so the teachers just let them slide to make the all-star game. Because they need that hero. It's like, I feel like it's the hero worship. You know, people just see Chris Brown as like this mantle of like, in some people's eyes, of excellence of his talent. Because he's a talented person, however, that shouldn't justify his behavior.
Absolutely.
You know, like he should still, like we say, be accountable for his actions. But I do agree with you too. Personally, I believe everyone's guilty until proven innocent. However, I feel like in this situation, he's the type of person that like, he should get a fair trial. You know, let all the evidence pile up and then you go from there. You can't just like cancel someone right away. And I feel like that's what happens too in this culture is that we cancel someone, then they're isolated, then they become bitter, and then they do something else that's hostile for attention, and the cycle continues and just gets worse. You know, you gotta still make sure the person still has some type of support so they can, you know, rehabilitate.
I agree. Also, you know, I think just coming from the culture where you just learn about all of the things that have happened. I mean, I always go back to like Emmett Till and how people were like, or just people like put stuff on black men. It's just like a history of saying, hey, I was raped and, you know, it was a black man who did it. And to me, it hits a soft spot because I actually, you know people who've gone through that, have been proven innocent, but it's still walk around with that A on their chest. Now, granted, like Chris Brown, I would never come to the defense of Chris Brown and be like, hey, the brother did some one-handed cartwheels. He deserves to be, you know, off the hook. But when we talk about like rape and assault, yes, we, you know, both really bad, really, really bad. But if I was to come to you or I was to talk about you and say, yo, you raped me and it wasn't true, to me, that's one of the worst things you can put on a person. Because rape is something that even if you didn't do it, and murder, like even if you didn't do it, you still gonna be associated with it. So Chris Brown, I don't know if he's still gonna be, because he's always gonna be associated with the Rihanna.
You know what's one worse than that?
What?
Getting raped and people say, who cares?
That is very
That's
true.
the majority of what happened.
But this is not the situation that happened with Chris Brown.
Absolutely.
Right.
But to say, and this is what Remy Ma did on State of the Culture too, like, well, I knew somebody that happened to, like, women lie sometimes. That does happen, and that's really shitty. And the people who accuse rape and have been lying, and we've seen it happen to certain basketball players, and we've seen it happen to black men, especially when we're having, like, this interracial conversation as racism at hand and power play with that. People who falsely accuse of rape should definitely have severe punishments as well.
Yes, that's my only thing.
To use it as a crutch when someone comes out like, we should hesitate on the rape thing because I know some people who lie, compared to how much rape happens.
Very true.
Free people are just like, oh, I proved Brock Turner, I proved that he raped me behind a dumpster, unconscious, and they're like, yeah, but he's a football player.
No, yeah, and you are absolutely right. All I'm saying is that people, what we talked about earlier, people need to be held accountable if they claim that they were raped and they weren't, because that's a total defamation of character. Because you're saying that this person is a rapist. And if you're not that, you be anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, I believe, again, guilty and proven innocent, you proved innocent by court, you know, whatever, cool. Except for OJ, because he did it. But if, you know, that happens, you do your due diligence, the just trial, all that process, everything. If somebody claims rape on you and you didn't do it, and it's proven that you didn't do it, I don't think that anybody should get a slap on the wrist for that, because you can ruin somebody's reputation. Like, if it wasn't Chris Brown.
What reputation does he have?
No, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't Chris Brown.
It was Kevin Hart.
let's just say it was Kevin Hart.
He's the good guy.
Okay, right. Now Kevin Hart has cheated.
Yeah.
But that does not mean Kevin Hart is a rapist. You know? So if somebody goes, hey, Kevin Hart raped me, and it comes out that he did not, that's fucked up for Kevin Hart. Yeah, he did something wrong, but that doesn't mean he did the ultimate thing that could put him in the ground forever as far as career and his life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are speaking in terms of like levels of badness, where it's just like, he didn't rape, he only punched her in the face.
No. Both are horrible.
It sounds like on Twitter or wherever, like, it sounds like people are doing this thing where it's like, Chris Brown would never rape.
He beat a woman.
But he
several.
Right.
But he wouldn't do that. And it's just like, I thought we said protect black girls. Like,
right.
I thought we said protect black girls. And Chris Brown has no interest in protecting black girls. And he's shown that time and time again. I'm glad you're not a rapist, Chris Brown. When I get famous, I promise we'll have this talk in person and I will totally do a line of cocaine with you. But until then, I don't want to be behind you because you still haven't proven to be the good guy that you keep trying to persuade us that you're this good guy. That another violent incident happens, another arrest happens, and you're just doing this thing over and over again. Can't get behind you. Sorry.
Look, take steps towards redemption.
Right.
You have to do that. Once you do that, then you get the public's trust again.
Right.
Then we'll let you back in our hearts.
Right.
Maybe.
Keep up your livelihood. I'm not saying I'm with him or behind him as far as supporting him because I'm really not. But you know, I don't think anybody should be wrongfully accused because that shit is traumatizing.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
All right. Let's put people on something sweet.
Bow 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 bow. Put you onto this, put you onto that. Oh my God, I'm black. It's not Ariana Grande, it's Jameer Pond and JustLatasha and this bitch, and we're gonna put you on.
People on to protective sex. Let me tell you guys something. Finger cots, dental dams, condoms. Morning after pill. Take that baby and kick it right back where it came from.
Excuse me?
You're just gonna tell God, no thank you. Protect yourselves out there. There are a lot of diseases happening in like Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, the Bronx. We really need to start wrapping it up. I don't want your creepy crawlies nowhere around me, my body, and what I stand for. Now, the more that you guys want to play after the club off the Douce and somebody slipping on top of somebody and it was all a real quick accident. 3 minutes. No one's timing it. I'm just saying it felt like 3 minutes.
What is happening?
Then all of a sudden you gotta go through the sock talks and your doctor's like, damn, you back again. But they gotta keep that neutral, like, it's good to see you face. They don't want to see you. They shouldn't know what you need as soon as you walk in. It's getting embarrassing at this point. We gotta clean up the streets and clean up the genitals.
Well, I will say that a good safe sex method that I feel like a lot of people outside the queer community don't really know about or don't really utilize is called PrEP. So PrEP is called pre-exposure prophylaxis, and that is a pill that you can take once a day for 30 days, and then it actually helps you protect yourself from getting HIV.
Wow.
So
yes,
Mandy,
I have heard
I
of
believe,
this.
is 99.8% like effective.
Oh, that's
you can get it at your same Planned Parenthood.
Well, listen, that nigga out there with that 0.2%, and you don't want to take a gamble on who he is.
He's definitely in the Bronx.
I'm just saying.
He lives uptown.
You can pop the pill and you can have that condom and it's just like an extra armor, just like a hidden layer. Like Long Johns for your DNA.
Yo!
Please put on
prepare yourself.
Touchdown! Touchdown!
That was incredible.
That was perfect.
That was
The person's free.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I would like to put the people on to this season of True Detective with my son Mahershala Ali.
Oh, that chocolate man.
I didn't say that. That's what
I
you
would
said.
go prep free on that one. I would go full Bronx mode on that.
You literally just counteracted exactly
Zach
what
would
you
have
said.
all of my records.
I would not do that. But you know, girl, whatever jiggles your jello, I do not judge.
His wife is having a great time. I trust her choices.
True Detective is on HBO. It comes on every Sunday at 9 p.m. and it's a really great season this year. They're playing like 3 parts, so it's like the 80s, the 90s, and 2015, where he's like an older man. And Mahershala is just like one of the best actors. I mean, if you haven't seen his work, I mean, please, you know.
Could you imagine the Netflix and chill in that house? Your man's on TV, your man's on his knees, you just like, You getting twice the sexiness?
Of course I can. I call that moonlight.
We have now come to the point of the show where tradition around these parts to finish what the fuck is in our glass.
Something's in heat. I was playing this area right here.
Something wrong with her.
There was one tub, but girl, they got me
I said, God, get them kids back up out of here. You know,
Like, check her chair. Check her chair. Make sure there's nothing coming out the bottom. Check her chair. Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I know.
Let's raise our glasses and
Cheers.
over chug. Clean that glass.
Yeah.
It's the first time you finish your glass first.
Hey, look. I'm always good at finishing first.
Understand.
You couldn't help it. A black lady always finishes the job.
You and these one-liners are just really impressive. I mean, I have nothing to say.
Follow my Instagram, Blvck Laé D. You'll get them all.
Yeah. This week we are drunkenly debating
Who was the better black TV father? Oh, man. Uncle Phil.
That's not fair, he's dead.
So what?
Uncle's dead?
Why, Lord? Take me instead. He's been dead for a number of years, y'all. It's been a little bit.
Spoiler alert.
Uncle Phil or the cop Carl Winslow? I'll tell you who I'm taking.
Please.
Uncle Phil.
Alright, let's get a minute on the clock for Jameer Pond. He is going to convince you all how wrong he is.
Okay.
We starting it together. Together. Alright. Here's, I don't even think I need to really debate. I mean, it's Uncle Phil. Shut your mouth. Here's why Uncle Phil's the better TV black father. Because Uncle Phil helped raise us. Uncle Phil, for 5-6 seasons, was the pillar of fathers in the black community. A lot of y'all didn't have that, okay? We can't say Cliff Huxtable because, you know, he's dropping pills. So Uncle Phil was the pinnacle black father. He stepped in and was a surrogate father for Will. He checked Will's father and said, don't you bring your black ass around here, Lou. You cut it. All right? You cut it. All right? So Uncle Phil was the pinnacle black father, and I'm so proud to say that I was a student under the tutelage of James Avery, the late James Avery, a.k.a. Uncle Phil. And whatever she says is not going to be relevant, because first thing first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Carl Winslow was never in a motherfucking song like that. But my father and my mom got divorced, so I used to look up to people on TV. When I look up to
Everyone's parents are divorced. How long are you gonna cry about daddy left mommy? Oh, divorce. Oh, come on. None of us had 2 parents. Isn't that
Some of us
true?
don't have parents. We're just aliens from another dimension.
We disappeared one day. Carl Winslow. Let me tell you something. When we talk about good cops, that's what the fuck we mean. Not hugging on some black kid trying to make a viral video. Not being good one day surrounded by a terrible squad. Carl Winslow carried a gun, and he carried his masculinity even bigger than that. He wasn't afraid to be married to a strong black woman. He was under the home of 2 strong black women. His mama, who ain't take no crap, and his wife. Y'all ever married a woman named Harriet? Y'all ain't gonna step on her goddamn toes. But he wasn't threatened by her. See, a lot of you weak niggas want to pick up guns and put on badges and marry weak IG honeys because you can't handle a Harriet. But you want to be out there talking about you with Malcolm X. She wouldn't even have the guts. Carl Winslow walked with such intelligence, vulnerability, and masculinity unthreatened, and showed his son Eddie how to be a man, showed his neighbor Steve how to be a man, and showed his daughters what a real man looked like. Try me.
No.
So I lost last week.
Horribly.
The entire audience, back to back, Team Jameer. I would take this time to curse you out, but I'm going to save that energy for R. Kelly tonight on my Twitter. Because I still hate you, Kels.
Okay. So, I recently got a chance to meet the wonderful, the incomparable,
Don't say Chris Rock. I think we've had enough.
the magical Billy Porter.
Ooh.
Yes.
And one thing that I really admire about Billy Porter, aside from just being every man kind of actor and just doing it all, I love his character Perkel on Pose. I'm gonna give you a category.
And I have to serve the category? I'm so ready for this. Fuck you guys.
You
This is
ready?
a great challenge.
You ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Get to the
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And the category is Timmy White Woman.
Dasha, come Dasha.
Ooh, Timmy White.
Here she comes to the pot.
Timmy White.
Let's get mad with her lad. She's
Call the
looking
police.
and she's working
Call the police.
so bad. She has
They're bothering you, aren't they?
Her only two.
Oh no! And we go. You're so scared. You're so scared.
She's moving her chin.
And the category is
And she can
Jamaican dancer from Portmore.
Where?
Portmore. Jamaica. Go, 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 go. Willie bounce, Willie bounce, Willie bounce, Willie bounce. You better serve how you do it. You better serve how you do it. You better serve. Here it is. And the category is Street Mind. Mine with it, mine. Mine with it, mine. Oh, you gotta take the bathroom, mine.
She's posing
That bathroom. You said bathroom. You better go be. You better go be. Mine it. Use the bathroom. Use the bathroom. And the category is somebody who just got caught cheating on their husband. Boom, go, go. Oh, you just got caught in the act. Somebody had sex with you.
She just got some dick.
You got
it.
Oh no.
That's not up her man. She's
She took you. Bring up my dude. She took you. Bring up my dude. But next, death drop. That's it.
Or just drop.
Or just drop.
Dead.
Yeah! Alright! Alright!
Wow, that was great.
That
Did you
was
have fun with
Yes,
that?
I loved it.
Only 3
Iconic.
Oh!
I got a good score. I didn't get chopped.
No.
I know that's something you would like to avoid if you ever have to dance, Kyle.
Okay, so there you go. That was very good. You seem out of breath.
I'm much out of shape and my belly's big.
Got you. Alright, bro.
Thank you to Blvck Laé D for joining us.
Yeah! Again, one more time, where can they find you?
You can find me on the Instagrams at black.lae.d, and also during my new drag/event production house called House of D, HAUS.OF.D.
Whoop whoop!
And watch me take over the world.
Can we make requests in the House of D? Size, girth.
Shut up. I would like to thank the wonderful, phenomenal Amazing.
My Jodeci Fiend, the Talent King, Jameer Pond.
Yeah. his wife changed.
You sound like
She
Martin
raised
Luther
you.
King Jr.
Oh, well, you know.
And that was
Also-
not a dream, it was a nightmare.
Wow, I'm gonna walk off now. God.